Hi.
Hi.
We're so good at this. Hello and welcome to Bec Han. I'm Han.
I'm Beck.
She's Beck.
Oh.
Eh, eh, that's funny. And we're here to talk about music today.
Our intros always remind me of the intros to iCarly.
Oh no. I hope we're better than iCarly. I'm Carly. She's Sam.
I mean, that's
And
basically
today
what we
we're
do.
gonna random dance.
And here's spooky stories from the Talking Bra.
Yeah. I was like trying to think of any segment.
That was my favorite thing about iCarly, that bra. He was funny.
You liked the spooky stories talking bra?
Yeah.
That's funny.
And
Did you like when Spencer was a baby?
no, that made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, me too. I didn't like that either.
And I liked that weird, movie promo that they did. The Wind.
The wind, yes. I did like seeing Spencer's art projects. That was fun.
You would like those because you're artsy.
Yeah. Well, you you would like the talking bra.
Because I'm a bra.
You wear one. Yeah.
No, I'm actually a bra.
Oh, this whole time. Hannah and the talking bra. That's the name of our
You never
podcast.
took off my skin suit thing, my layer.
Ew.
There's like a little zipper, right.
Okay, no. Ew, ew. I can't follow this with you.
Next to my
I
scalp.
can't follow this one.
That's
I
too
can
much.
only yes and you too far.
That's
So
too
far.
much for you, huh?
Yes. I don't like body horror.
We've
It makes me
found it.
uncomfy.
We've identified a boundary.
Did we communicate it well? I hope so.
I feel like
Yeah.
I feel heard,
Oh, good. I'm glad you feel hurt.
even though I
I
didn't
do too.
I didn't communicate the boundary. Wow, this has gone off the rails already. And you know what?
So,
I'm keeping it in because it's fun.
but that being said, I know
Speaking
we're
of
here to talk about
boundaries,
I know we're here to talk about your album, but I'd like to give a pop culture corner update, if that's okay.
yes, what's this update that I totally don't know about?
But everyone will be so surprised to hear that I'm talking about Taylor Swift.
What?
Um,
I wish there was like a gas Discord audio button.
that would be really funny. It's like, um, yeah. So, first of all, I did not get tickets. I didn't get on the pre-sale, and I didn't get tickets. So, it's a year to try. Yeah, exactly. Um, and we got a year to try, and we're gonna try to make it happen. Secondly, at her show last night, she announced that 1989 Taylor's version is coming out in October.
Oh my god.
I know, so surprising. It's very exciting. Everybody knew it was gonna happen because yesterday was 8/9, and
Oh.
yeah, and and she has been pointing to 1989 was gonna be next,
Wait.
and
I've got a question.
okay,
Why is she performing on a Wednesday?
that was also my question, but this is because she did 6 shows in LA, and this was the last show of this leg of the tour. So she won't be,
Oh.
yeah. So she's got like 6 weeks off, I think, and
She
then
did that on
she'll
purpose.
go to LA. Yeah. So I think just because it's the end, you just kind of squeeze them all out. Um, yeah, I was like, it's kind of funny that this huge monumental tour that's been like a massively successful achievement for her just ends on like a random Wednesday.
Well,
But
most tours do.
so she announced it last night. All the Swifties were like, all the clues together, and she was wearing all her blue outfits. And she announced it, and she said this is her favorite re-recording so far, and it's gonna have 5 vault tracks,
I heard about that.
and which is very exciting. And she is selling 4 different versions of the CD that all have different pictures in them, which is what she did the first time she released 1989. So that's fun. Well, she released 3 pictures, and I got a pink one, so I'm pretty excited.
Would you have settled for the other colors if pink was sold out?
Yeah, I would have gotten a blue.
Blue? What the hell?
I would have maybe thought about a yellow for you, but I felt like pink or blue were the right options.
Wow. Our podcast colors are not pink and blue, Hannah. This is not this is not classic gender reveal party. This is
The
Beck.
podcast,
Yeah, this is Beck and Han.
and everybody knows Beck is yellow and Dan is pink.
Can't believe you did this to me. You would only think about yellow. I'd buy pink. You're not the
You
friend
would
I
buy
thought you
yellow.
were.
Wow. But yeah, that's my update. If I find out anything else exciting about it, I'll let you know. But people are pretty excited. There's also a lot of famous people at the show last night, of course.
Gee, I wonder why.
I don't know. But notably, Carly Kloss, who used to be friends with Taylor and is not anymore for undisclosed reasons, but probably because she betrayed Taylor.
What?
I know, it's the whole thing. But she was there, but she was in like the nosebleeds, which is really funny.
Well, it's LA.
And she was giving out friendship bracelets like with her name on them. So that was funny too.
Maybe she thought one would get back to Taylor.
She's like, maybe we'll be friends again.
What did she do to her? I don't even know who this lady
Well,
is. I've never heard of her.
she's a model, and she and Taylor were very famously besties back in like 2014, 2015. And then suddenly they didn't hang out anymore. And some people think she was saying things to the guy who bought all her masters and just kind of being shady.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Interesting. Maybe she was like
But
listening to like the live like songs and was like, Taylor, no, you can't do it better.
well, people were joking because some of those songs Taylor talks about, like all of her enemies started out as friends. So she's like, some of these songs are about Carly.
Hmm. Maybe it was like an ego boost, like a serial killer or a murderer returning back to the site of the crime.
Yeah, maybe it was. She's like, haha.
Haha, you wrote songs about me.
Our we're we were friends, but we're not anymore.
And now I get to sit in the nosebleeds like the normal people.
I know. Like if I and I wanted to go to a concert and I had to sit in the nosebleeds, I'd be like, maybe I won't.
You just did that though.
Celebrity.
Oh, celebrity. I didn't hear that part.
Oh yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, what? Didn't you just do that? That's hard.
I
That's
did
crazy
sit in
to
the
think that
nosebleeds.
like your shows were only like 2 months ago or 3 months ago,
I
I
know.
guess. But it
A lot of
feels,
things have happened.
I know, it feels so long ago.
It does feel very long.
I was
Okay,
sit,
people are. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I was like laying in bed yesterday going to sleep, and I was like, I want to do karaoke, and then I was like, I missed random karaoke nights with Hannah and Anne Marie. I should text them. And then I fell asleep, so I didn't text y'all.
Oh wow, then. Okay, that's all for now.
Okay, well, let's talk about sad songs now. Let's ruin the
Okay,
mood.
great.
So this
Yeah,
week,
it's time to bring us down.
yeah, I'm good at that. So this week we're talking about probably one of, if not my most favorite album of all time, and that is,
Wow,
I know it's a high honor, and that is
really?
What were you saying?
No, I just said it really is. It is a high honor.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Go ahead.
Can
Wow.
I finish? uh,
I'm so sorry.
and that is brand news science fiction. And I was looking at the little article that you sent me, and I was looking at the album cover, and I really did not notice like the person in it.
There's two people in it.
Where's the other one?
They're jumping from the roof.
Oh, I've never noticed that. I honestly just thought this album was black and white. Like that was it. Um, so I've already learned something new today about an album that I supposedly love.
Supposedly.
But
Um,
this is brand new's final fifth and final album. They did
mm,
not, if I remember correctly, they did not like really promote it all that much. They just kind of like dropped it. It came out in 2017, 9 years or no, 8 years after their last album, Daisy. So it's been almost 10 years in between albums. And man, what a like I didn't become a fan until like 2016, 2017, but like I could not imagine that feeling of like listening to this masterpiece when you've waited 8 years. To me, it would have felt
it
worth
must
it.
have been. It must have been. Yeah. It really must have been like so much of like a good. What's the word I'm thinking of? Just a good payoff.
Mhm. And the tone shift is quite different too, because like the album Daisy is very, I guess you could say heavy, but it's not heavy like in
Mm.
normal standards, but it's heavy for them. So they've kind of had like a weird trajectory. So they started out as a pop punk band. Their first album is just basic pop punk through and through. Then they kind of got a little darker, a little quieter with their second album. And like just they keep getting progressively darker and progressively quieter as they go on. But then their fourth album, Daisy, was like dark but loud.
Mm. Interesting.
And like a lot of fans did not like it. And if you talk, excuse me, if you talk to brand new fans, everybody for the most part like really had to get into Daisy. Like it was an acquired taste, so to speak,
Mm.
because it's just like
Yeah.
it's very chaotic. A lot of screaming, which they're not necessarily. They do scream sometimes, but like a lot of it's just heavier and it's
It's a
violent.
different sound.
Yeah. Uh,
Violent. Yeah, that's interesting because I'd never heard of this band before you suggested this album, and so I kind of did a tiny bit of googling, but not a lot because I wanted you to be able to tell me most of it. But oh, when I looked at this album, it references Daisy a lot, and I was like, Daisy must be a really important moment for them.
well, so they've always kind of had like religious undertones and themes in their albums,
That's interesting.
but Daisy was like so like the devil and God are raging inside me is it's got a little bit of it. Um but then like Daisy's just full on like I'm angry at religion, I'm angry at the world. And then
Hmm.
that kind of bleeds over into this album. Plus there are some fun
So,
little references and Easter eggs which I really like about this album.
oh, that's cool. References. It's that probably increases the payoff for fans who waited 8 years for this album and then
Oh yeah.
get to have a little bit of the Easter eggs and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah. I'm sure I'll miss some, but I know, I could I'll tell you probably all the ones that I can remember, but it probably won't help if you haven't heard the songs, but and it's funny cuz one of the songs that there's a reference to that was in that article you posted is going to be my next album is going to be Brand New's The Devil and God Are Raging Inside Me. And so in one of the Easter eggs I kind of have to explain the story of one of the songs and it kind of so basically you'll hear the same story twice is what I'm
It's
trying to get
fine.
at. So anyways, but I when I was listening to this yesterday, I was like, I like this lyric, and I like this lyric, and I like this lyric, and I like this lyric. And then I was like, Hannah's gonna ask me what all my favorite lyrics are, and I'm just gonna be like, these are the songs I read to my therapist, or the lyrics I read to my therapist.
That's really funny. I mean, it is a good album for that.
Oh yeah. And like I feel like they as a band like really I guess like hit what I was going through as a high school or college student, just kind of the stuff that I was dealing with. So it was a very relatable album for me. And oh my god, I listened to it so much.
So, how did you come upon this album? Because you gave us a little bit of background about Brand New, but
Right.
what's your background with them?
So my background with Brand New is I I heard the song Jesus Christ somewhere on Spotify. I don't know where, but I just like randomly stumbled upon it and I was like, "Oh, this is a good song." And then I like just went about my life for like a couple months and then it like showed back up on a Spotify playlist and then I was like, "I like this band. I'm going to give them a listen." And then that was right about the time this album came out. So then I was like, "A new album? I'll give it a go." And I don't really remember like first like listening to them in general. Like I remember hearing that song, but I don't really remember much else. I just know like I fell down that rabbit hole and I fell in love with them. So,
Cool. So it was kind of just like a Spotify random deep cut, and then led to a Spotify deep dive.
yep, 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 yep.
That's a fun way to discover music,
It is a
because
fun. I know.
you really can just like go down a rabbit trail and find all kinds of artists doing that,
Yep.
which is so the like most modern way to discover music, I guess, without TikTok.
Well,
Um,
and you know, sometimes and maybe I found it in my Discover Weekly, but like I know we've talked about it in the past, Discover Weekly sometimes has some like hidden gems you would never find otherwise.
yeah,
And then other weeks it's just like trash, 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 trash.
I swear my Discover Weekly every other week, half of the time it is so good, and I'm like, wow, I never would have listened to this, and I love this song. And then the other half of the time, I'm like, I don't want to listen to some random white boy do an acoustic cover of a pop song that I like
Yeah.
and make it worse. Like I just don't want that
Yeah.
Spotify.
Or like a weird like pop punk cover of some like random pop song from the 80s.
Yeah, I'm just like, Spotify, just because I like this song doesn't mean I want to listen to a cover of it. Sometimes, but not always. Because I have to put in a caveat. We talked about um Hailstorm, and probably besides Break In, my favorite Hailstorm is their cover of Bad Romance. So
Oh yeah,
I
Bad
can't be
Romance
a
is good.
hypocrite and say I don't like it. It's so good.
But that's not what I'm talking about. Like, oh, I don't know. You know, I could probably look on my Discover Weekly and find one right now, but
I
um
get weird like Taylor Swift and other random just covers, but I'm like, I don't really care for this.
I'm gonna look at my Discover Weekly really quick.
Why not to?
We've opened this rabbit hole. I need to see.
No, it's too late. I have to. Where is it? Show it to me, Spotify.
Okay, I don't see a cover on here, but like a bunch of this I'm not gonna like ever want to listen to. Like, no offense, Real Big Fish, but I don't want to listen to ska.
Real big fish. Let's see if I have any. I wonder if this Valerie is a cover.
This song,
Probably.
this band, they have a song on here called Celestial Revenge. They're called Fang Banger.
Huh. Interesting.
So, anyways, none of this looks
Anyways,
none of this looks great.
okay, so let's talk about science fiction.
Yes.
I will say my impressions of this song, it reminded me of an album that I want to talk about later at some point, and actually made me think maybe I should bring it next week, but I think I'm not going to.
Okay.
Um, but it reminded me of an album I really like by Halsey, which is so like, I don't know, it's not the same genre at all, and it is so. But there are things that he does in this album that remind me of specifically one of her albums. And then I went on their Wikipedia page,
Uh huh.
and Halsey is on the Wikipedia page being like, "Yeah, I was really inspired by their album." I'm like, "Oh, for specifically Manic, which is the album I was gonna bring.
Uh huh.
I'm like, huh. So I guess I was right to
Like
be.
they're inspired by this album.
How was it? Well, actually, I don't think they were inspired by this album, but a past one.
Okay.
But just by their writing in general. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
They're good writers.
Because, yes, they're good writers. There's a lot of lyrical things that they.
There you
Hello.
are.
Does this sound okay?
Yeah.
I'm getting my computer back.
Hannah, did you turn off the Wi-Fi? Did you press a button?
No, I didn't press anything. I didn't want to connect to the Wi-Fi. I even tried to switch to a hotspot and it didn't work.
Hmm.
All right, computer, let me back on. Don't update right now, Discord.
Maybe that's the problem.
It always has to update like as soon. Okay, no, so many things. It's because I never turn my laptop off. I always just close it. All right, give me back my brand new stuff. Oh my gosh,
It should have restore tabs.
I did do that.
I'm talking to you like you're an old person who's never worked a computer in their life. You click the restore tabs button on the Google Chrome.
If you go to the three dots, no, not those three dots. It's up in the corner. It's in the corner.
Other
It's
way,
over
other
there in the
way.
corner. Right corner, the right side. No, the other right.
One of my coworkers, he's an older gentleman, and they had to help him figure out how to save as because he was saving things to his OneDrive when he needed to save them to like a different external drive or whatever.
Oh no.
And he was like, I have autosave on, so that it should work, right? And they're like, no, click file, save as. And he's like, click here? And they're like, no.
It's so frustrating. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with my computer? It just is like, nope, you can't get on Discord anymore. No internet. I hate when it says no internet secured. I'm like, secured? What do you mean? You didn't secure my internet access.
Where'd your internet go?
Let's try back on the hotspot. I guess I could try just on my phone and then I could put my AirPods in so maybe the sound would be a little better.
Maybe. I don't know.
But I don't know if it would either. This is frustrating. I wanted to use my computer. I think it does actually need to update. I think that's why it's doing this.
It's like you waited too long, Hannah. Now I must strike when you least expect it.
But I update it every week.
Oh, I don't know then.
Like a good computer owner. Oh. Okay. How do I sound?
You what? Found what?
I said, how do I sound?
Oh, you sound fine.
Okay. I'm just gonna do this then. I'm gonna give up on my computer for now.
Yay, technical difficulties.
We love it. Okay. I don't know what you were saying. All I know is I said something about Halsey and then you started talking and then I didn't hear any of it.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Okay, let's just go back.
Okay.
So we need to start at the beginning of the album.
Yes, that is a very good place to start.
So, oh, I was talking about some of the vibes, like we were talking about the things that are happening in the background, all of the, and the, I guess not always the background, but like the beginning and the ends of the songs with the talking and the recordings.
We haven't started talking about that. We can talk about that now.
Oh, that's what I was gonna talk about, and then I my computer decided it didn't want me to.
Right, right. Okay, so all the recordings and whatnot.
Yeah, I am the kind of person who really likes a weird, funky little thing, a little gimmick in a song and an album.
Uh-huh.
So I was all about that.
I know. I remember when I got this album from my friend and we put it in, and I didn't like tell her anything about this album. And then the like little therapy session started, and she was like, "Dude, what the fuck? This is so creepy and unsettling."
It definitely had some spooky vibes to
Well,
it.
probably the music played into that.
Yes, definitely.
So okay, well, do we just want to start? Because I mean, there's talking and whatnot in all of the elements or whatever, or on all, and most,
Yeah,
if
that's
not all,
true.
of the songs.
That's true. Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, so I'll play the first clip here, and it'll be "Lit Me Up." Okay, I love that I like picked a random part of the song to start in, and it was still just instrumental.
There's a lot of instruments
There
in
is
this
a lot of
album.
instruments, and look, it's a creepy sounding song.
It is spooky. I think I wrote that on I said I love the spooky vibes.
It is very. It makes me think of fall because of how spooky it sounds.
It's definitely like I know it's supposed to be a therapy session, but a lot of the spookiness makes me think of like scary games where you go into a psych ward that's been abandoned.
Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh.
And I think that's partly because of the therapy session, but for some reason in my mind it's in a hospital psych ward.
I mean, it
And then
could.
sometimes the spooky vibes are like, oh, we're lost in space.
Well,
But not on this one. This one I feel like we're in the psych ward.
this could be in a psych ward.
That's true.
Um, I like how it says that this tape recounts a dream which occurred close to the end of 400 hours of intensive individual therapy. I'm like, we did 400 hours of intensive individual therapy.
I know. Like 400 hours? That takes a long time to get.
I know, that's like a year and a half of seeing each other every day.
Yeah, every day. So
Yep.
this person, no wonder they had a spooky, weird dream because
Yeah.
they were doing a lot of therapy.
um, one of the things that you talked about when you texted me was that like the lyrics are kind of hard to understand.
Yeah.
And this like song really starts it off because so the lyric that I never can make out what he says is dive down into its unit in its head.
Hmm.
I've and whenever I'm singing along with the song, I'm like, da, 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 da. I just make T sounds because that's all I can hear.
Yeah, I think that was one. Like, I didn't have a lot of criticism on this album. I really enjoyed listening to it. It's got some good vibes. We talked about how it's definitely like a night driving
Yep.
album, and like I love the story behind it and the story that he's telling and everything. But the one criticism I might have is that sometimes it is really hard to tell what they're saying in the
Yep.
song. And sometimes it's the way he enunciates, and sometimes it's just that they're like playing the guitar louder than he's singing.
Those jerks.
And I'm like, turn it down. He's trying to say something.
um, One thing I like about this song, and I don't know if it's just the way that it's like mixed or whatever, but when I would listen to it on my stereo at home, the bass would like rattle like the walls of my entire house.
Ooh, of
And
your whole house.
yes, at least to the living room, the hallway, everyone's bedrooms, and the living room.
I bet
And
your family loves that.
the dog sure didn't. But
um,
I've heard that this song is about, well, I think I saw this on Genius like once, but somebody said that the song's about the Holy Spirit, and I'm like, huh.
That's interesting.
Kind of plays
I
in.
read that it was about like how in therapy and how the rest of the album kind of has similar motifs about light and fire and being lit up.
Yep, yep,
How therapy can bring stuff to light,
yep.
and it's painful.
Well, right here it says, "Don't cut me up and tell me that it's okay. Just turn it
Mm.
off because I don't care anyway." Someone
There
maybe.
are a lot of like intense lyrics too.
Yeah, which I could see maybe like the Holy Spirit thing that I heard was like it like lights you up or whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I.
Well, I feel like it's just there are some like references to religion. I don't know if it's necessarily specifically the Holy Spirit.
Right, 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 right. Well, they do love to reference religion. That's their thing.
I love the like tape clicking sound at the beginning and the end.
Yes.
The reversed audio, that's fun.
Where's the reverse audio?
Apparently at the very ending, it's hard to catch,
Huh.
but there's a line of reversed audio.
I probably have heard it. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But it kind of, I like how it like seamlessly transitions into "Can't Get It Out."
Yes, so yeah, and I think we'll probably come back to this thought that I had, but I was like, in a good way, this whole album feels like one big song
Yep,
because there are so many times when there's like a false ending to a song and then it starts up in a new way. And
yep,
because of the way they all seamlessly transition into each other,
yep.
it's sometimes listening to it, it's hard to know when one song ends and the next one starts.
Yeah, especially if you're not looking at it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like uh no, well, I mean, I guess in the most obvious of places for me, like "Out of Mana" goes into in the water, and then I
Mm-hmm.
think in the water transitions into, well, I'm looking at it, but it transitions. I can't remember if "Desert" has the 7 years line or if it's in the water, but that goes into the next song. They just all have fun little outros that transition, help to push the album along.
Yeah, it all like really is very cohesive. The sound is, it feels like an album that I wouldn't probably separate out separate like individual songs. I'd probably be like, if I'm gonna listen to this, I'm gonna listen to the whole thing.
I disagree, but that's because I love this album too much.
You've listened to all the songs a lot of times,
I have,
so
yes. I only listened to it once before like recording this, but that's because this album had like it was in my top, that song, half the songs were in my top Spotify songs of like 2017 through 2020, you know.
um, there are also some really long songs. This is one of the really long songs.
Yes, it starts with a really long song and then it kind of, well, there's a few others in between, but then it ends with a really long song.
Yeah, it's over. The last one's over 8 minutes. This one is over 6 minutes though.
To be fair though, I think that the reason that 8 minutes is just kind of like the outro to the final song. It's like a 4 minute outro, it seems.
Yeah, the outro itself is, and it kind of is like, okay, this is the last song that they wrote or that they released ever. Like this is it for
Yeah,
their
this is
band,
it. Yeah. Because they even
and I
talked
think
about
it's,
this was going to be their last album.
yeah, I read that and I was like, that is such an interesting story for an album that they would spend 8 years working on it and it would be planned to be their last one and then that would be it.
And like I don't know if you can see this on your Spotify, but looking at their picture, um these like people do not look like they write the music that they write. They look like they would write like bro country.
They kind of do. It's funny because like every band ever is just like four or five random white dudes and you're like, That could be anybody in the world. I wouldn't know them on the street.
Yeah, I know. People are like, I met so and so today. And I'm like, how did you differentiate him from everybody else?
He looks like every other man.
Every other man that ever was. So,
Okay.
any other thoughts on this song before we move on?
Oh, let's go to the next one.
Okay, so the next one is Can't Get It Out. Okay, what are your thoughts on this one?
What are my thoughts on this one? Um, I wrote "Can't Get It Out." Whistles.
Whiffles?
Whistles.
Oh, whistles.
That was apparently my thought when I was listening to this. I listened to this a couple of times. I don't know. I said it's hard to understand what he's saying, but I like his voice, and I said this is a driving song.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, I have a bunch of little, well, not a bunch. I have a few little notes on this. It is a good driving song. Um, so I I noticed that like he's kind of singing with like a flat affect.
Mm. Mhm.
And so, like, one thing I like that's the way that they did this is, he's kind of singing like he's just singing to get through it, and then like every instrument is just kind of playing like they're trying to just get through the song, and so it kind of fits the theme of the song of okay, like I have this like mental illness, and I have to get this out, like I have to like be able to express myself, but I'm also in a band. I need to finish this album and get this song done. And so like to me it's got like a kind of like a dual meaning of like writer's block. They're trying to it took them 8 years to write this album, and then also
Yeah.
like I'm trying to express how I feel but I can't quite find the words, and I'm also like super depressed so I don't really feel like putting in the energy.
Yeah. That makes so
Um
much sense. Like he can't get it out emotionally. He can't express himself, but also he can't get the music out because of the writer's block. And then after he does finish the song, he like can't bring himself to perform it and get it out.
yeah. Um to me this song has like a ton of like spiritual uh like little metaphors and whatnot.
Hmm.
Honestly, I'm
Yeah, reading the lyrics, I'm seeing that.
man, I'm just like I feel like I should just go through and just read all the songs that I like or lyrics that I like. I really hope the shame is less for what we feel in times of stress. Um,
Mm.
that no, but I guess that's just depression. No sense in fighting it now. Um, one of my favorite lyrics in here is got my Messiah impression. I think I got it nailed down. Wordplay.
Oh, that's good wordplay. I like that.
um,
Oh, but he says, I thought I was a creator. I'm just here hanging around. Got my Messiah impression. I think I got it nailed
and then
down.
it says I've got
That's
this,
double wordplay.
and then it's got that I've got this thorn dug in deeply.
So he's like comparing himself to Jesus.
Which, he does that a lot.
Does he really?
Well, maybe not a lot, but like he does kind of like um I have heard, so I guess eventually we'll have to address it, but I have heard that he's kind of a narcissist.
I also just in looking him up saw that he had to issue an apology.
Yes, he's a problematic
Um,
artist.
so maybe that's something to even just like say like, okay, we're listening to the music and talking about the songs, but not really about him specifically. Yeah, he's probably not a great dude, but
They never are.
we can still listen to his music. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to find anybody who's gonna be perfect,
Exactly.
and maybe that's not the take in 2023, but but it doesn't matter if what the take is.
Um what was I gonna say? And who knows? I mean, we don't know anybody, so like these people could be have these allegations when not brought to light, but maybe they've done their work behind the scenes and are better people, but we don't know.
It's true. And like obviously I'm he had to issue an apology about sexual harassment. And obviously I'm a believe women, believe victims kind of like that probably did happen
Yep.
and I hate that it happened.
Yep.
And also we're gonna talk about these songs because Beck really likes this album,
Oh, I love this
separate
album.
from this guy. So it kinda is both and there. We
One of
don't condone him.
yeah, one of the lines. I think this is in the second verse. So this makes me think of like this section in particular just screams super like fundamentalist conservative religious people and like their experiences. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it says, "We speak in tongues and start to teethe. Lift your voice and scrape your knees. Kids in love will plant their seeds, resurrect and start to breathe. I thought I was a creator, blah, 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 blah."
Mm, yeah. It's definitely a very like heavily religious song and I don't know, it's just interesting
Yeah, I
that
love
the
it.
way he like is both the kid coming up in religion and also Jesus in this song.
And, you know, I think I think they really do a great job of conveying somebody who does grow up in religion and then it's kind of like, wait a minute, things aren't really
Yeah,
that like things aren't great here. What's going on? And so
it
a
definitely
lot of their songs he's just angry at God or whoever, you know. And
he he definitely sounds like he's working through like what does it mean to have grown up in this and maybe I believed it growing up and now I don't anymore and why do so many people believe it and why are a lot of people who are religious or Christians hypocritical and you can hear him struggling with it.
yeah, he's been working through that since their third album, really.
Dude, you gotta work. You gotta keep working.
Yeah, keep going to therapy. My therapist was even like, "Wow, these lyrics are like super religious." And I'm like, "Yeah."
keep keep going to therapy, dude. Don't mess around with any girls.
Yeah.
Go to
Stop
therapy
doing that.
and, and work on your religious trauma.
Yeah, that's there we go. That's what I've been looking for. Religious trauma. That's what this is all about.
Oh my gosh, they recorded their third album in Oxford, Mississippi.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Apparently,
That's
where's they
cool.
from? I'm
Like New
just
York,
scrolling
I
and I
think.
really saw. Yeah, they're from Long Island. That's funny. Why did they record it in Oxford?
I don't
Anyway,
know. That's so
that's,
weird. That's a fun little fact. Wow, who knew
that's
Hannah
fun
would be
little fact.
the one bringing the fun facts?
I just love fun facts. I'm a fun fact enjoyer. I'll go on record. Did that make you laugh?
Yeah. This song is their most played
Okay,
on Spotify with 15 million plays,
interesting.
all coming from me.
All 15 million are you.
Yeah, all 15. I'm their only fan. That's why they're in Oxford.
Yeah, since they have 1.1 million monthly listeners, and all of them are you.
Yes, I have 1.1 million Spotify accounts.
Just so you can listen to them.
Yeah. You're in the 1% fan of brand new. Here's a special gift. I am the 1%.
Yeah, when they say one percenters, this is what they really mean.
Okay, so if you don't have any more thoughts about that, we can move on to waste.
Okay, let's move on to waste.
Okay. right. What are your thoughts?
My question about the song was, what key is it in?
I don't know.
I thought it was interesting because it wasn't, I don't know. I don't know enough about music to know that, but it was like, it feels different from the other ones, like a little bit.
Yeah.
Feels like it was singing in a different key.
Yeah. No, I could see that. And it's got kind of a, and I think it's the guitars that really kind of give it that like not twangy sound, but that's the only adjective I can think of.
Why do they scream in the beginning?
I guess
Why does the
I think that's just part of the tapes that they used.
It says screaming is a key tool used in primal therapy.
Well, there we go. Gosh, glad you
Oh,
had.
also, would you like another fun fact?
Yes.
So, in the first, um, in the first song, when they're doing the therapy session, this sample of it in the beginning is an interview from Terrence McKenna, who was just a super uh pothead, like smart person who smoked a lot and um came up with all kinds of different ideas about things, probably because he was high a lot. And I thought it was really interesting
That
that,
was a man.
why does he have, I guess
That
it
sounded like a
says,
woman to me.
I know it did. This is according to an interview with Jeff Rickley. This sample is from an interview with the psychonaut Terrence McKenna. And I looked up Terrence McKenna. Apparently he's a man. I don't know.
Maybe they like messed with the recording a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it sounds like a little bit messed with.
That's interesting.
So there's another fun fact
I'm
for you.
loving these.
Anyway,
I'm loving these fun facts. This song makes me think of. I wrote down like you're wandering in the desert.
mm,
Which kind of leads me to the
but then
theme of to me this song. The lyrics make me think about how like you have a like you've got your depressed friend and can't get it out, and then like you as their friend are kind of like walking with them through this journey, and you're kind of encouraging them along the way as they wander through the desert.
mm, do you think that that comes back later in Desert?
Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna go with no. I have my own thoughts about desert.
Okay.
But I do have some fun Easter eggs.
Oh, please
Yay.
share. I love Easter
So
eggs.
in the line, I'll read you, I guess, the phrase. Well, you could turn to water and we'd all float on. Give up trying to be someone. Take your head apart. Free your own heart. That line, "take your head apart," is a reference to their song "Degausser," and in their
Hmm.
song, I gotta look up the lyrics. Hold on. I know I and a fun little fact about Degausser. You'll hear this again when I talk about that on their other album when I cover that. Uh, they don't actually know what they wrote. Some of like they don't even know what some of the lyrics are. Like they've been
Why not?
asked because they just maybe I don't know. Maybe they were like purposely recorded it to where it could sound inaudible or like sound like multiple things. And then when people ask the lead singer like what's this what's the lyric and then he's like I don't fucking know, I don't remember.
So they just kind of recorded it
Yeah.
and made it sound like it could be lots of. Okay, that's interesting.
Okay, I gotta find it. Where is it? Oh, here we go. So in the Gausser, it's take apart your head right against the wall. So they just reference it in this song. So that's kind of
It's a
fun.
good Easter egg.
The
Are there other
Gausser's a
ones?
good song. In this one, I'm looking. I wrote it down. Oh, another little kind of like if you want to get back into the religious aspect of this song,
Mm-hmm.
maybe the friend who's walking with him is Jesus.
Ooh, do you think so?
I mean, given what I know about like their albums, I wouldn't put it past them to throw that in there.
Huh, that's interesting. So, what lines make you think it could be Jesus?
Don't lose hope, my son. This is the last one. Basically, anytime he mentions in the song how this is the last thing you're gonna go through, um, like you're gonna be fine. That's kind of where
Hmm.
but I just think it's kind of just thrown in there for like funsies. I don't think it's like the actual meaning of the song.
Do you think that those lines, "This is the last one, don't give up," that kind of thing, is about how he knows this is the last album and he can just be done?
Yep. Uh huh. Oh yeah, definitely.
So, you think he got really sick of performing with this band?
I don't think that he got really sick. I just think he probably has. It's probably draining constantly writing about like your struggles and then having to like always be reminded of them. And so I could,
Yeah, having to pull it out of you every night.
yeah, and so I could see this being about like him, a letter to himself about writing the album. But I can also
Hmm.
see that this is also a letter to the fans of like, you're not alone. You'll be fine, even if this is the last one. But I really like your last album theory because after he says this is the last one, and it kind of goes into the bridge, it says you are not alone. You are not alone. You get to reset. So he gets to reset and start over.
Yeah. And it seems like, and that I sent you earlier an article. We keep referencing it, and it's just the Pitchfork review of this album, and they liked it, and they had a lot to say. But it was interesting to me to read about how he tends to be more private of a person, and then in his music, kind of lays all of this out there. And we've talked about in the past with other albums how vulnerable that is to lay all of it out there and then get up on stage and perform that. Because we've
Hmm.
talked about how much of a community beautiful experience that can be with like
Hmm.
Hailstorm versus
Hmm.
it seems like it's a draining experience for him.
Oh yeah, and with the allegations that have come out,
Yeah.
reading this last chorus, I'm like, I wonder if he like was kind of referencing this. So I'll just read the last chorus. Every night you were tripping out. So maybe, back in the day or up until now he was doing a lot of drugs and just having like mental breakdowns and mental issues. But anyways, every night you were tripping out, in the morning you were coming down. If it's breaking your heart, if nothing is fun, don't lose hope, my son. This is the last one. Every night had you laid low. It's gonna feel so good to let it go. It's all in your head. Your race is run. Don't give up, my son. This is the last one. This is the last one. So maybe he knew those allegations would come out eventually, and it's just kind of like, I'm gonna, go out on a high note, or at least because they came out basically right after this album came out. So
Mm,
maybe he just kind of knew, like, okay, even if he would wanted this to be not be the end, like he knew, okay, this is the last one, and this is like everything's about to come out about me, and it's all just gonna get out there, and it'll be a big relief off of his shoulders, a big burden off his shoulders.
yeah, maybe that's what he was thinking about and how and even being able to say I'll get to reset.
And I do think it's interesting because in Out of Mana they talk about at the end it says, there's no reset, and so maybe he's coming to grips with, okay, like I can't. This isn't like I can't get out of this situation. I'm not gonna be able to like run away from it. I'm always gonna be associated with this.
Yeah, which it's not great. It's a pretty bad thing to maybe it's just his way of trying to own it, and I hope that he does fully own it and you know things get better for him and for the ladies, but whew,
It's a good song.
good song though.
It's one I don't come to nearly as much, but it is. Hey, that's another one I brought into therapy.
There we go. Okay. I have a question for you about Could Never Be Heaven, so you better
Okay.
play it.
Okay. Okay. I'll play it now.
Do you know the words that make the hidden door open?
Okay. What's your question?
Is this song the reason why you think people will get married in heaven?
No.
This song is.
But I stand by my statement. I will die
Okay.
on that hill. and
Like,
then and then
literally.
and then I'll go to heaven and show you. I love how
Okay.
like serious the like your tone was. Like it was kind of like, "Are you okay? Is this where you heard this from?"
Reason. Do I finally understand you?
No. But I think
Okay.
someone said this was about Mormonism, and I'm just like, okay, I'll go with it.
Ooh, wait, that would make sense.
Well, they said because Mormons. Well, okay, and I'm just telling you what I've like read on the internet, so take it with a grain of salt. But apparently, his wife was at least raised Mormon, I think. What I read,
Mm.
and Mormons do have secret names or something. So,
Oh yeah, and like the whole secret like passage into heaven.
yep,
You have to know the right. That's a lot. I mean, that's the first line. Do you know the words that make the hidden door open? Can you
yep,
keep my secret name and fits me?
yep.
Yeah.
And then we have a
Um,
Wizard of Oz reference.
then we have a Wizard of Oz reference, which I don't mind. It kind of works, but it is kind of silly. Um, I I mean, he is saying basically like I heaven wouldn't be heaven if I don't have my wife and my kids.
mhm. Mhm. I'm just reading the lyrics. I honestly I don't have too much to say about this song, but I mean I see where he's coming from. I think a lot of people would agree that heaven would not be the same if they didn't have their loved ones there. But
Yeah,
then you have the other people who are like, "But you'll be with God." And I'm like, "Okay, but I don't know what that feeling is like." So my earthly instinct is to want my loved ones.
that's it's a good point. It's fair to say like, well, I don't know. Right now, I have to go off of what I do know, and I do know. I hope that people I love are there. Um, I wrote that this song makes me think about. It gives me vibes of like a fantasy setting, and you're like sitting around a fire at night. Someone's
Yeah.
playing the song that's like, all right,
We'll
let me tell you the myth of so and so,
we'll go camping and I'll learn this on guitar and lug out my giant guitar.
and it'll be like this really sad song. I'll do the outro part with the recording,
um
which it's interesting because I feel like the outro it has a different point than the song.
I don't remember the outro. What's the outro? See, they all do
It's
blend together.
basically yeah, exactly. The
Oh, here it
outro is
is. Yeah, the guy, the therapist man.
it's about authentic individuality and um you've kind of been conditioned to believe in the opposite of it. And this song is kind of about like I want my people with me. It's not I don't want to be an individual.
Well, and maybe this is like kind of a good like reminder of how like people are so caught up in who they are. Like who they are, their identity is defined by relationships that they have. And so they
Mm.
aren't themselves. And so maybe the song is like, "Don't be like this. Be your because I think that helps kind of explain the second verse. So the whale is well rehearsed, swimming circles in the church. The cardinal fish says God is dead. The whale says, "Get out of my head, get out of my head, get out of my head." And so, like, to me, that sounds like the whale is so concerned with what other people perceive of him that he lets them kind of influence them or him, even if he doesn't like the influence. And so, like, he's not able to be himself and stick to his own beliefs and values. He's easily swayed. And so, I think the outro just is like kind of like a reminder of like, stop doing that.
That makes a lot of sense.
But I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure we'll be referencing the water later.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Water it's just a good metaphor, and it's used all throughout the Bible.
It sure is.
and in
I'll never
other
forget
religions.
Dr. McKelvey talking about the water in Genesis or something.
Exactly. It's very important.
You know, the whole
Okay.
3 months of the 5 month semester we spent on Genesis. We're supposed to cover the whole Old Testament.
But Genesis is the only thing important. Okay. Are you ready for same logic? Teeth?
Yes, so let's go.
It's hot.
Okay, I gotta be like, this is my favorite song off the album by far. Every time I hear that beginning little guitar riff, I am just floored by how good this song is.
Okay. I have a few thoughts about this song.
Okay.
I really like the chorus.
Uh-huh.
I love the build up at the end.
Yep.
With all of this, like, there's just so much sound.
Yep.
Oh no, wait. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. I think that happens in the next song too.
Yeah,
Where
it
there's just a
does.
lot of
Yep, it's a good build up.
sound.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we love a build up. We've talked about that.
Yep.
Big fan. Build up fans here. Bassies, drummies, buildy uppies.
Bridgies.
Bridgies. The only thing about this song, what's the line? I have to find it.
Oh, I'm
At the
probably gonna
bottom
end up.
of the ocean, at the bottom of the ocean, fish won't judge you by your faults. That's a fine line. It's just the way that it's delivered reminds me of Ferb from Phineas and Ferb. and it kind of got stuck in my head for me there. I was like, the rest of the song is great. That one line kind of ruins it for me because I imagine Ferb from Phineas and Ferb singing it. So I'm
That's
sorry.
funny. That's so funny that has kind of like that's in a sense ruined the song for you. Like it's taken it down a few levels because of that association.
I mean, it's Ferb, you know, he sings
One line.
Get You Do. Yeah. Sings this one line in Get You Do and one line in Same Logic Teeth by Brand New.
Oh man.
Go ahead. I wanted to hear what you had to say about this song.
I love this. This song is a literal 11 out of 10 for me. There's nothing wrong with it. Ferb singing is fine. It adds
I love Ferb.
emphasis.
Ferb, get him here for more tracks.
He's at the end. He sings at the end too.
Does he really?
Yeah, that's the same guy. The guy who sings "Boy, we gave you every opportunity to get you off your feet" or whatever.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go through
Ferb.
most of this song because this song I took in its entirety to therapy.
Okay.
My mommy had to be talked to because I read these lyrics to my therapist.
Yeah, oh no.
So I'm just we're just gonna go verse by bit. So the first verse
Okay,
is,
yeah.
it's hard to walk through all the places that your life used to be in. So you thought you'd shed a layer, maybe try on some new skin. Your friends are all imaginary. Your shrink stopped answering her phone. So you decide to make incisions at home while you're all alone. But you're no tailor, you're no surgeon. Your cuts never go very straight, or none of your cuts go very straight. Every new layer you uncover reveals something else you hate. and then you cracked your head and broke some bones, and when you glued them all together, you found out you did it wrong. Just
Mm.
what a like punch in the face this first verse is.
Yeah, I like that.
Like
I
it's
hate the genius annotation for this part, but sorry, go ahead.
you hate the what?
The genius annotation for you cracked your head and broke some bones. The annotation is the author stumbled / fell over. They fucked up and hurt themselves. Okay, I don't think that's what it's about, genius, but sure.
um it just like I think it really gets to the like point of like why people self-harm,
Mm,
and then when they do it they feel good for like the second that the adrenaline kicks in, but
right.
then like they're like why then they're hit with that shame piece of like why'd you do that, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then like oh man I just and then like they try to like they're trying to fix themselves but they're not doing it right because they don't know any better. And I'm just like, yes, brand new, please. Just stop hitting me with the hard truths. Um, and then
Mm,
I'll only read the chorus once because we don't need to repeat the chorus. Where'd it go? Okay. Well, this is the same logic that got us into trouble the first time when we discovered we could use the same logic to get us out of trouble and shake off all the people we abuse. I don't
mm.
need I don't need to know where you come from. If you don't even know where you belong. So how's it feel to walk around like you're some sort of freak? Like you're some oh wait, I read that. You're just this monster in a costume, a shade of what you used to be.
Oh,
Like, man, just this song I just like it depicts what it's depicting so well.
yeah. It really cuts into the exactly what that feeling is
And
of
it's
you don't
terrifying.
belong. You're out. You're not normal. You feel like a monster because you're trying to fix this broken part of yourself and you don't know how.
Yep, it's like they know what shame and guilt is, and then they're like, we like this is like the perfect descriptor for shame and guilt
Mm,
and grief. So then we go on to the second verse, and you've got your kind of brand new face on, haha, brand new, where all the skin's pulled thin and taut, and every kid you see starts crying, so you stop going out for walks. Well, I guess nothing can be perfect, so here's a comforting thought. At the bottom of the ocean, fish won't judge you by your faults. Um, but it's
mm.
interesting because of the way it's like when people are in this mindset, like nobody's really judging. Like they hide what they've done, and so nobody. I mean, people are judging, but I feel like they're like this. They're the the singer's like taking it to like a 10 when it's probably more like a 5. It's more just like, oh, they're wearing long sleeves in winter. But they're just kind of assuming that's what people are thinking about them, and so then it gets blown out of
Right.
proportions, and so then they continue that spiral of, okay, well, I'm like now everybody sees what I've done, and they're all mad at me, and judging me, and now I feel even worse, and then maybe like some of that suicide ideation comes into play.
It becomes like a cycle of, I feel bad about myself and I feel really hyper aware of everybody else's thoughts about me too. And so then I
Mhm.
feel worse about myself. And then I become more hyper aware, like probably they're judging me, probably they're thinking poorly of me. That whole like thing about I'm a monster in a costume and wearing the new skin. Because like I think you were saying, it portrays the shame and the grief and the guilt, but it's not just any old shame or guilt or grief. It's some that has been in part put on yourself,
Yep.
because of the way that you're not able to fix how you're feeling with self harm or other things. This one I think is specifically about self harm, right?
Mhm.
Um, and how that just, like you said, spirals and perpetuates the shame and becomes the cycle.
Well, and then something about the chorus that I didn't really mention, but it always stuck out to me is, well, they've used this logic to get out of trouble and to kind of use it to get what they want from people, but then the same logic
Mm,
gets them into trouble.
yeah,
Like it has
it's
its
like,
pros and cons in a sense.
yeah, which I think that there are some people in the therapy world who kind of talk about self harm in that way, where we talk about this is what it does for people, and it's partly gets people. I'm gonna say this very carefully. In part, it can get people attention that they're looking for,
Right.
which my argument to that is if you're hurting yourself because you need attention, you really desperately need some care and attention from people who love you. And I think that is really important and valid to say.
Yep.
But also, it allows you to have a release of some of the emotional tension within you.
Yep.
And so it's like that's the side that this gets you in and out of trouble. You get in trouble with people that you're abusing, is what they say in this song, but people maybe you're manipulating, and in trouble with yourself. And also, you get out of it by needing, like, getting what you need from people and getting that emotional release.
And I could see it also talking about how some people do use self-harm to manipulate people, and so they use it to get what they want, to get that person's attention or to get that person to like stop focusing on something else and focus on them. But then it has the consequences of, well, now they're at the hospital, or now that person won't talk to them because they figured out, like, oh, okay, they did this just to get back at me or just to hurt me or get my attention. And so, like,
Yeah.
they think it works immediately, and it hits that goal, but then they have the repercussions of that, which they weren't
Mm,
expecting to happen.
mm-hmm.
um and so I'll skip the bridge is good, but I mean there's not really much to say about god damn it, you look so lovely, but you sound so ugly. I mean that's just more like self-talk and blah 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 blah, which we love self-talk. But I love the end because the end is boy, and again it's the guy who sang the fish saw part. It's their guitarist, and he says, boy, we gave you
It's
every
Ferb.
yeah, it's Ferb. Boy, we gave you every opportunity, gave you our hands to get you off your knees. Boy sat at our table and ate everything. You say you're still hungry, then bite the plates and break your teeth.
Mm,
So, like,
that is so tough.
because, like, clearly this person thinks that they've done all that they can, and the singer's, like, not grateful for it. And so,
Yeah.
if they want to continue to get, I think it goes back into my analogy of the person who cuts themselves or whatever just to get someone to pay them attention, and
Mm-hmm.
then like that person just is like, okay, I'm sick of this. Like you've used all the resources I have. Figure it out, you
Mm,
know?
yeah, it's kind of like seeing it from the other side, and I think that it is also what the first person is partly afraid about is
Mhm.
you're going to reject me anyway.
Yep.
I'm, an ugly monster and I'm doing this in part so that you see that, and in part so that you can't see that I'm wearing a mask, but I don't want to fully wear it. Kind of like fighting with yourself in that really low moment.
Yep. Which I would say this part really struck a chord with me because I never self-harmed or anything, but when I was like in my deepest lows, I wouldn't want to tell people because
Yeah.
like there is a possibility that they hear that and they like reject you, or they're like, well, we've done, I guess particularly like speaking about my parents, but like we've done everything that we've could to raise you. What else do
Yeah.
you need? Like why do you still keep asking us for things? You're an adult now, you know? So that
Yeah.
really
Why
resonated with me.
are you still acting this way or feeling this way when you have a place to live, or you've got food to eat, or people rejecting you for saying it, or judging you like they're afraid of, or thinking you're just doing it for attention. But on the other hand, part of you needs that attention.
Right.
Tough. A
So
tough
love
place to
this.
be.
Yep, love this song. Love it musically. It's gosh, it is a perfect song. It is this album's break-in.
This album's breaking. I love it.
Uh,
I mean, so far it is the most, broken in song,
and it
most
only has
vulnerable
9
so far.
million listens. Come on, listeners, let's get this song up there. It deserves more.
Maybe, maybe they just heard Ferb in it and they were a little put off by that.
Maybe, yeah. They got and maybe Spotify doesn't count it unless you like listen to the whole thing all the way through, and so they got to Ferb and they're like, oh.
It's not Ferb.
Any other thoughts for this one?
um, no.
All right, let's go into 137. Okay. Right off the bat, I just want to say that this song has a really nice guitar tone.
Yes.
It's really pretty and it's really fun to play.
And at the end, that instrumental interlude,
Yep.
so good.
Yep.
Love it.
Ugh, man. This is another
I
like
was like, incredible.
yes, this is another top 3 song on the. I think this is my second favorite.
Wow.
It's a good one.
This is the one about the bomb.
Yes. Wow, perfect time. Well, not all. If we had done this just a few weeks earlier with Oppenheimer.
Oh no. Oh no.
Uh,
So what else do you like about the song aside from the guitar? Because it is so good.
well, I like that in the chorus. I always think, why'd they pick Nagasaki? But then I'm like, let's all go play Hiroshima. Like it doesn't. It doesn't really
It probably
fit.
rhymes with more stuff.
But they're not rhyming it with anything.
That's true, actually. That's
Hold my
funny.
hand. This chorus, like, I don't know, just like looking at it makes it more haunting for me than hearing it. But let's all go play Nagasaki. We can all get vaporized. Hold my hand. Let's turn to ash. I'll see you on the other side.
Mm.
I really like the line, the second verse, before the garden when you were all alone. You made the atom. Was that some inside joke?
Oh, that's a good play on words.
I know! That is so clever.
Because listener who cannot see what we're seeing, Adam is spelled Atom.
Yeah, not Adam like Adam and Eve, but that's what they're playing
The
on
double
that.
entendre there.
Yes. Mhm. Adam, Adam, God, you knew what you were doing.
Before English existed.
Before English existed. But God knows all, so he knew English and he was like, humans in millions of years are going to think this is so funny.
Someone's gonna write a song and it's gonna be have a good play on words.
It sure is. Does Genius have what they say during the plane recorder things?
Yes. So it's actually they're all pretty long. But the radio samples are just I think it's just a guy talking to somebody else from the plane, talking about how the bomb is going to come down. I can read them actually. They're not that long. So it says, "Hey, it's D1. I don't know why it's been so crazy. I haven't gotten any letters from you in the last 2 days. I guess the mail kind of screwed up too. When the both of us get here, it always is. If there wasn't a war going on, this place would be pretty nice." And then the second one is before the instrumental interlude. They say,
Hmm.
"They won't send you over to the side you're not. He's brave and he's always going to that bunker. So don't worry about him. No, I'm not. There's just not much more to say. Give my love to your parents and to my parents. I'll send them a few things as soon as I get to where I'm going. And I'll be back home with my love soon. But yeah. P.S. Duke, I love you."
Hmm.
I think that's kind of like oh yeah, well, you say I love you in that situation because you're probably not coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of like this song's so just haunting, I guess, is really good to put
Yeah.
it. Um, the lines that I find interesting so it's back to the chorus. Let's all go play Nagasaki. What a lovely way to die. To finally show where we all go, so no one has to say goodbye. Let's go and meet our maker. Won't matter whose side you're on. We're so afraid. I prayed and prayed when God told me to love the bomb. That's just interesting to me.
Mm. Hmm. It's interesting coming after the last one too, where he's like at such a low,
Yeah,
and and then to just be like, okay, what if I just didn't have to deal with this anymore?
yeah, yeah. They don't care whose side you're on. Or so afraid. I prayed and prayed. It's it's just so good musically. I don't know. I wish we both knew more about music to like just like I really wish I had perfect pitch or something so I could just be like they're playing an A chord here and it sounds really good. Or
I
like
wish I could describe at least exactly what the guitar is like in that interlude, but it was so like hearing it for the first time, I almost felt shocked, which is so silly. I was like, whoa. Like I
whoa.
had a moment where I was like, this is cool.
I did write the guitar work is perfection.
It's perfection. Exactly. It's very good. I actually in my notes I wrote, "Whoa, I love the guitar part at the end of 137."
I showed my dad this song and for some reason, I don't know why, and he's like, "Oh, it's a really sad song."
It is really sad.
I
You're like, don't think about that. Think about the sick guitar.
Yeah, Dad. But I will say one thing I don't like about this album and Brand New really as a whole is that like while it is good night driving music, you gotta really crank the volume to hear it.
Oh yeah. When I was listening to this, I was like, I have to pay a lot of attention. But it is so. But the nature of night driving music, you're like, I just want to let it wash over me. I don't want to pay attention.
Yeah, that's what this album does. Any final thoughts for 137? Why do you think it's called 137?
Is that a plane?
Sure, I don't know. I'm
Is
surprised.
it the bomb?
I don't know. I'm sure Genius knows. I'll Google it. I'll Google it
um,
real quick.
I'm googling 137. Apparently, it was supposed to be the exact value of the fine structure content, whatever that means. Um,
It's a byproduct of nuclear fission processes in nuclear reactions and nuclear weapons.
yeah, that's probably what it's
It didn't
referencing.
it didn't exist on the Earth's surface until the testing of atmospheric nuclear bombs in the 1940s.
Interesting.
Wait,
Also, apparently, it's some numerology and symbolism and Judaism. So,
oh, of course it is.
but
It wouldn't be a brand
probably
new
for this
song if
song,
religion wasn't thrown in somewhere.
more importantly for this song, it didn't exist on the earth until the bombs.
Oh,
So
that
that
silly
makes sense.
god. All right,
Okay,
next we've got Out of Mana. All right, what do you think of Out of Mana?
very clearly, Mana is a religious reference. So this is a
Mm-hmm.
song you have to look into the Bible for.
Uh-huh.
But I wrote that this song felt like it was well placed as the middle song.
Yep.
Um, because it feels like they have a second here where they just really unravel, and then you kind of go back to pulling it tight in after that.
This song, I think it's like you said, it's good in the middle because like it does kind of pull you back in, like, hey, back to the album.
I thought you
Um,
were just mindlessly driving, but
yeah, it's like,
come,
hello, I'm
come.
still here. Listen to me. I like that this is filled to the brim with like fantasy video game type references.
Hmm.
So it says, next you should dominate all the quests that everyone said were too hard. At last you go back to sleep. Don't back out or we'll back down. I want you to know if you feel ready to go, I can read the rest to myself. Hell is digital. You smash to smithereens. Uh, anyways, I mean, just anyone can read these lyrics, but they're very like because, and also because like they talk about like at the end in the little quiet sing-songy points, he says there's no reset. So like maybe he's throughout this main part of the song, he's talking about like okay he has chances to do something. Infinite lives and time uh will come up. So like he's throwing out all these video game references about how he has all these quests and all these lives to do it all in. And then at the end he's like, actually, no, there's no reset. This isn't a video game.
You only get one.
Mhm.
Ah, and so I guess hearing that and then looking at Genius, the mana reference actually to World of Warcraft and not the Bible.
No, damn it. What do you mean? What's a World of Warcraft?
I know this is the least like gamer way for me to talk about this too.
To be fair,
Um,
World of Warcraft is not up my alley. I'm like, that looks boring.
yeah, I'm not really. I don't think I'll ever get into it. I wonder why he was like, okay, we're gonna take a break from some of the mental illness talk and the Bible stuff, and we're gonna talk about video games for a little bit.
Yeah, okay, and this whole song's about video games, and then the song ends, and it's like, then the next part is, I have to go. Mom says I have to get off.
Yeah, I have to get. Mom says I have to get off the video game. It's time for me to go. Talk about my mental illness some more.
Yeah, I gotta go talk about I gotta go to therapy.
I have to leave to go to therapy.
I do say I think
But
my favorite song is or my favorite part is the little outro. I love another set of lyrics I read in therapy, so I'll read them out loud to our listeners. I have to go. I want to say I'm in love with you, and I'm more than the skin of my teeth. I digress. I'm a mess. I'm in love with you. I will go without water or sleep. I'm a
mm,
ghost. I can't say I know that I'm even here. Or is this some eternal test? Hold me close. I'll never know if it's more or less. No reset.
interesting. No reset.
Like, to me, this sounds like someone who's like trying to like show somebody that like okay I am so about you that I will go without necessities, but also maybe like the whole identity thing, like they're so fixated on this one person or thing that they're a ghost and that they don't even know themselves and what their purpose is. And so they're
Mm,
like, okay, like, do I live in ignorance? Do I try to explore more? I think I've got to figure it out because there's no reset. Like, this is it.
mm.
Kind of tying back
Yeah,
into could never
I
be
have to figure
heaven.
it out. I the ghost line really stood out to me because that was something that was like imagery that when I've had lower moments in my life in high school, that was something that I was like, I feel like I'm just a ghost. Like I'm kind of just
Hmm.
here going through life and people see you or don't, but you never really feel like you're fully solid or
Yeah.
that you're really seen.
Yeah.
You start to feel like I can't say I know that I'm even here. Or is this some eternal test? Holy crow.
Yeah. I love that yours says holy crow. This one says hold me close.
Interesting.
Maybe it's another one where they're like, we don't fucking know what we wrote. Sure, that's right.
Yeah, Genius on it says it might actually be hold me close instead of holy crow.
What's it?
Maybe
Yeah.
nobody knows.
Nobody knows. um, good song though. I like it. It's a perfect. Its placement on the album is perfect.
I think they did a good job like just ordering the whole thing. I think there's something really to be said for that because it does feel like just one long song and story. And
Mhm. I will say
so,
desert and no control kind of blend together in a bad way for me, but we'll get to those.
hmm.
All
Let's talk
right.
about In the Water.
In the water. All right. In the water.
I think this is one that I really didn't know what he was talking about.
I'm looking at the lyrics.
Yeah, I'm like, where's the lyrics? Um,
To me it's a reference back to the water reference in Never Could Never Be Heaven. I was in the water in a dead mining town floating down and all the people below me were singing or whatever.
mhm.
But I do like the lyrics. In the water they twist and shout. They were born again so they can start living now. In the water they saw the face of the man who was haunted, ashamed and disgraced. In the water they asked them both, how did you get the gold without digging any holes?
Hmm.
Um, there's definitely, and I've had this like thought before, because the whole they were born again so they could start living now. There's definitely some like there's obviously religious undertone, but like it means something. And I used to know, like I used to have an idea, but now I'm like, brain, work.
I'm trying to. It is interesting because I think that the next song, Desert, really goes in a lot harder on the religious
Yep.
stuff. So maybe this is like trying to set it up.
I don't, not knowing his allegations, I don't like the second verse. Hide your daughters, the old men say. You were young once before, you know how we get our way. Feel the horror with no delay.
I yeah, don't like that either. I'm
That
gonna
make that makes me uncomfortable.
yeah, I don't. A lot of the stuff there, I'm like, I wonder how much he really is thinking. Like, is this gonna come up? Is this gonna be something that I have to talk about?
And who knows? Like this could have been all written over 8 years while they were
True,
figuring this out. And so maybe he thought at certain times that it was going to come out when he wrote, but maybe it wasn't like uh it wasn't necessarily like in the forefront. Like it didn't happen the night before going into the recording studio that he wrote these lyrics. So,
right? Yeah, probably he didn't. That probably isn't what happened. That would be very weird. I did write for this song, and it's interesting how many different kinds of instruments they've included on this
yep.
album.
Yep.
Especially for the genre, how they sometimes are like, yeah, it's gonna play a little banjo-y sounding guitar instead of
Let's throw in a harmonica.
electric. Yeah, they have a harmonica. Yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna
It
bring
really
some
gives
country
off
elements in here.
like these when they throw in these other these elements to these songs, it gives off like wandering in the desert. Like it really gives
Yes,
off wanderer vibes. This guy's trying to
especially
figure himself
this
out,
song and the next one. Yeah, 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 yeah.
which it could
Wandering
be.
around.
It could be him trying to figure it out, like because if you're gonna tie it into desert, like it could be him dealing with these morals and values that he was taught, and how he's kind of like questioning it. And so then he's saying, I can't say it enough, I can't do it enough, I can't make it enough, can't fake it enough, I don't want it enough, so everyone will wait.
Hmm.
But also, that could be another, hey, I'm tired of making music, so I'm gonna and I'm gonna make you guys wait for this album because I've got to figure this shit out, and I'm tired of
Yeah,
writing. I'm tired,
I'm tired of like putting it all out there constantly.
and I'm very
Maybe it's both.
curious. Maybe it's both. I'm really curious because in the first two choruses, he says he's never had it any other way. He's drowning in the praise. But then in the final chorus, he's drowning in the grace.
Interesting. I wonder what the difference is there. Maybe he like is saying like everybody has always said good things about me and my music, and I don't feel like I deserve it. So really, it's just
Oh.
gracious
And when these
and
things
not.
about me come out, maybe people, I'll, instead of drowning in praise, I'll be drowning in grace because of the praise that I got before.
That too. So either it's like imposter syndrome or, dude, I did something bad. How is
Guys,
that
but
gonna be?
but you guys love me, right? So you're totally gonna be okay with it.
Right, yeah. How is that gonna be received? Hopefully, it's good. But I mean, ugh. Um.
um, another
Also,
Easter.
I talked. Oh, go ahead.
I was
Do the
gonna say
Easter egg.
another Easter egg. So at the end, it's the preacher man, and he says, "We sing this morning that wonderful and grand old message, and I don't know about you, but I never get tired of it. Number, and then the 7 years, 7 years, 7 years. How many
Hmm.
times do they say 7 years? One, two, three, four, five, six. So they okay. So this
7.
is this has okay. This is two Easter eggs in one. So the preacher talking, that's a callback to a sample that they used in Daisy on the title
Hmm.
track Daisy. And so like in the title in with before it's cut out, he's telling them that whether they're going to sing a hymn number whatever, just as I am, I think is what it was. And then the
Hmm.
song Daisy is all about like this guy. He's like struggling to figure out who he is, and you know, um, like just it's like I said, Daisy's all about struggling with like religion and stuff like that. And so kind of him going into that. So that's kind of cool. But then the 7 years is repeated 7 times, and that's kind of fun. Reading that Pitchfork article really reminded me of this. I didn't think about it, but they're wrong. So they said that this is a reference to this whole thing is a reference to the album Daisy. But then they were like, but it came out 8 years ago or 8 years before this. But I think it's a reference to their song Limousine, which is on their
Hmm.
album The Devil and God Are Raging Inside Me. Um, it's that song. It's it hurts your heart when you know the story. So I'm about to tell you the story of it. Um, so the story is that this woman gets married, and she and her husband are leaving the reception. And so there's two limos. There's one with her and her husband in it, and then there's one with her daughter, and I'm not sure who else is in that one. I don't think it's just her daughter, but it might just be her daughter. I'm not sure. And her daughter's 7. Well, they're driving down the road, and then a drunk driver hits the limousine with the daughter in it. And it's such a bad wreck
Oh,
that the daughter gets decapitated. And so
oh my gosh.
the mom is holding in the song, the mom is holding her daughter and is saying, let me look up the lyrics to Limousine. Hold on. Uh and we'll
Oh
talk about this
my
again. Let's see. Hold on. I got to type in brand new because it just pulled up some random ass song.
gosh.
Okay, here we go. Um Well, so in the song at the end, it just repeats this song. Well, I love you so much, but do me a favor, baby, don't reply, 'cause I can't dish it out, or I can dish it out, but I can't take it. And that repeats, and then so it repeats 7 times. And what's kind of really sad is the lines at the end in the background. Or is it? So it repeats the "love you so much, don't do me a favor, don't reply, because I can dish it out, but I can't take it." I mean, the kid's already dead, she's decapitated, but the mom is like in such shock that like she's in the song just kind of repeating it anyways. But the backing vocals say, "We'll never have to rot together underneath the dirt. I'll never have to lose my baby in the crowd." Wait, oh, okay, yeah. I'll never have to lose my baby in the crowd. Uh, I should be laughing. I should be laughing right now. And so that's where the whole like 7 years thing comes into play because that's kind of what it's referencing to. I think that whole song.
Wow.
It's It's a
That's
it's a
intense.
it's an intense song, man. I can't wait for you to hear it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna. Oh, it's gonna be something.
And you'll get to hear
um,
that story all over again.
and I like looked up the song while you were talking about it too, and on the Genius page there's a picture of the girl,
Mhm.
you know, obviously at the wedding when she's the flower girl, and it's just so. It says that her last words were, "This is the best day of my life." Um, so that's just really sad. Uh,
Well, in the beginning of the song, the lyrics are, "Kate, it's your ride. Get your petals out and lay them in the aisle. Pretend you're God and grow, and it's your day to wed. We found your man. He's drinking up. He's all American, and he'll drive. He's volunteered with grace to end your life." See,
so
they
I mean,
they write
that's
some
a
like
haunting
intense shit.
story. That's a really haunting story, and it makes sense that you would come back to it 8 years later
Mhm. No, that
and
was
just be like,
that was on their 2006 album.
oh, so even longer later
Yeah.
that you'd come back to it and yeah, and reference it again. And I wonder what the meaning of it is here, or
Now
huh?
it may not have any meaning. That's just kind of what I thought of immediately, but it could just have like go with the spiritual religious 7 being like the lucky number or whatever, the number of God.
Yeah, but it seems like important that it could be both. I guess it could be neither. I don't know. It's really interesting. I wonder. It really had it was like a haunting. I was like, I feel like I'm gonna float out to space forever, but I've already been out for 7 years. You know, like it's what I felt like. It's very haunting. It doesn't feel like a good thing to
Yeah.
listen to him repeat it
Yeah.
7 times.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's unsettling.
Unsettling is a good way to put it.
And I wonder why they cut it off at right at uh number before they say the hymn number. I wonder what the
Um,
significance of that is.
maybe they didn't want to say a different number before they said seven.
Yeah. Number 7, maybe that's what they were going for.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other thoughts on In the Water?
No, let's hit the next one.
All right, here's Desert.
Last night I heard a voice that said this is the end.
Okay, Desert. I have some thoughts.
Okay.
So, this song is sung with like such conviction.
Mm.
Like, to me, I like that it started out saying, "Last night I heard a voice that said this is the end. All my nerves have been worn out, shot, worn to the threads. I honestly have only one or two left." Anyways, it really screams like this is somebody with fundamentalist value or just extreme values. Like,
Hmm. Definitely dealing with fundamentalism and kind of the what happens when you take that to its extent here of like what will happen to you if you act out in a certain way or what will happen to you if you die. Like don't the fear of God doesn't mean reverence for God, it means literal fear.
yeah. And but it also makes you think of like somebody who's like warning his family, like, if
Yeah.
you don't fall in line with my values, you're not a part of my family. Like,
Oh,
don't,
that's 100% what it sounds like to me.
you're
Don't come
not, you
running
get
to me.
nothing, you know?
Don't come running to me when they're coming for you. Like, he says, if you don't line up with my values, if you don't act the way that I want you to, whether that's being gay or owning a gun or whatever, he references in this song.
The path we
Um,
walk is only narrow and straight. No son of mine will wander astray.
mhm.
Abomination.
And if that, when they're coming for you, don't come running to me.
And then at the end they say God is love because that's
Hmm.
like that is what they would say. And I'm just like, this one is really, on the nose about it. And
It's very, yeah,
I wonder if that's what he dealt with as a like if this is coming from his experience, from his father or whatever it could be, family figure or family member. Cuz
I,
I
yeah,
I could see this being like this is what my parents were like or whoever, and this is why in every other song you guys ever hear from me, there's some struggle or anger towards Christianity that I'm dealing with. Like I'm trying to figure it all out, and this is my foundation.
yeah, like it started here with what I learned was not, they say God is love, but what I learned didn't really seem to portray love of, instead of, which is funny because, if you're going to go with that theme, then you think of, with the chorus, don't come running to me when they're coming for you, the story of the prodigal son. When the people were coming for the son, the father ran to the son,
Mhm.
and um was there, and like he came back, and that's the whole point basically of that story, is that God will accept you back in and bring you back in, and the father in this circumstance is saying the opposite. He's saying, I'm not going to be your father in that way. I'm going to reject you and turn you out if your values don't line up with mine. Just, and then, but at the end to say, but God is love.
God is love. Yeah. It hits home being from the South.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Also, this song does sound like plodding along in the desert.
yep, yep, yep.
I'm like, I feel like I'm on a camel right now.
Uh, Other than that, I don't really have much to say about this one. It's just him and a guitar. Well, and I
And
guess
it's
some
pretty
percussion near the
straightforward.
end. Yeah.
Like, it's like what we said already is kind of the message. And, you know, maybe that is where all of his other religious struggles come from as he writes his music.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have No Control.
In the end, we weren't much, but the hollow space shrank down inside of all of us for the good of all men. Hold me down underwater and don't let me up again.
All right. This is my least favorite on the album. Just straight up. I don't like it that much.
I read that the chorus is kind of boring.
It
I
is
also said
boring.
on first listen, possibly my drop song. So I'm
Oh,
glad that we agree on
yes,
this.
this is my drop song. I just I don't know. I'm sure there's some nice meaning to it, but it just kind of like goes on and I'm just like I'm bored.
I do like, it's got the like false ending and then comes back with a different
Yes. Yes, it's like they're jamming
song.
at the end. Yeah.
I love a gimmick in a song. I will always be like, that's cool every time I hear it. Every
Yeah.
single time.
Yeah, I do like the jam session at the end. I wish there was more of that.
Yes. I kind of, yeah. And it's not like my drop song in the way my drop song has been for other song albums where I've been like, it just doesn't feel like they finished it or whatever. This one feels like a full song. It just feels like a boring song.
I will say I like the little like backing vocals at the end. So I thought I knew the way out, but then it started over again. I hear your voice coming through the gray, run away.
Mm, I
That
do like
makes
that.
that makes me a little sad, but it is what it is. Kind of forgettable as a song.
Um, I wrote creepy clown question mark
Oh, with the wailing in the background or whatever that was at the end.
at the very end. Yeah,
That, yes, I'm like, yeah, jam session, and then I'm like, well, now I'm uncomfortable.
it's back to the psych ward that we talked about in the beginning,
Yep,
but like in the most stereotypical video gamey creepy way.
yep, yep, yep. They just took that out of like Outlast or something.
I was like, it's Joker.
But yeah, that's all
Yeah,
I really got for that one. I don't have much to say.
I just always like to come back to I Love a Gimmick. I'll listen to it in any song that's got something special like that.
Yep.
I mean, my favorite Justin Timberlake song is Mirrors because it has something funky going on. And
Uh,
I don't really like Justin Timberlake.
yeah,
Okay,
I don't. Yeah.
I don't
So
I don't
next,
take dislike him. I don't know.
next we have another numbers song. So I don't know what 451 means, but here's 451. I love the So something to stick out. The guitar work is good. I
Mm-hmm.
like that after the chorus, he says, wait, 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 and like the band stops. And then, especially at the end, when he says it again, and then they like go insane and just jam out for like 30 seconds.
Yes.
Love it. And I love
I
I love it. I love the beat. It's the most like funky, I guess.
yeah, it's definitely the most like interesting sounding individually of all of the songs on the album. I think it's got its own it's got its own vibe to it. Um I think that they might be referencing Fahrenheit 450.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I could
I
see
need
it.
to read the lyrics, but I don't know what other 451 it could reference. But that could be just like a fire reference again.
Reddit was the first thing that came up when I googled it.
It
Reddit
is
says
kind of
Fahrenheit 451. I could see it. I get that vibe. Go away.
some creepy cannibal lyrics.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, this song it has vibes, creepy vibes, but like funky vibes.
Someone said that this was a reference to life. So like
Like
they
in what
said
way?
they said the soft spot was birth, lightning rod adolescence, paint is peeling is adulthood. But I don't fucking know. This one I'm just kind of like I'm not even gonna try because I'm not smart enough to the kind of to decipher this. And I haven't read
Yeah,
Fahrenheit 451, so I couldn't tell you.
I haven't either. I wish I had,
I
honestly.
don't. I heard it was boring.
That's funny. I don't know. I wish I had read it because I would like to have read it because it is often referenced and I want to understand, but I haven't read it.
To me, it kind of just, and I think that music helps me kind of think this way. But to me, it just sounds like someone's just kind of losing their mind and going insane.
Mm,
And like the very last line, I'd go back to my hole in the woods underground. Like
mm.
that makes me think either like, okay, he's isolating or he's just like literally like has a bunker in the woods because he's crazy. which
Oh,
which he references drugs in the first verse, so maybe he is just like a super crazy druggie. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't pretend to know. I'm just like, this one sounds fun.
yeah, this was definitely one where the sound of it was kind of like coming over me, and I don't really know what the lyrics mean,
Yeah, it
and
drives.
that's okay.
Yep, the sound drives the song, or the music drives the song for me.
But gotta love that guitar sound. It's funky.
They really let loose on like some of these.
I know the drums are good, the vocals are good. I just we're confused about the meaning, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yep, yep, yep. All right, the final song, Batter Up. 8 minutes of bliss? Question mark?
Okay, play it.
I am. Okay, this song will put me to sleep.
Oh yeah, this definitely feels like a. You have to be careful if you're night driving while listening
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
this
You better be
song.
like pulling up into your driveway when this song comes on.
You had to sit in your driveway for 8 more minutes.
Um,
I'm a big long song fan.
love a long song. Juan would hate this song. I really like. I think this song is like a love letter to the fans. Like, okay, this is the last song. This is it. Um,
Mm,
but I also think it's like him saying like, okay, for his own life, like whatever's coming next, like good luck. But also like, fans, go try and find something better. I dare you.
mm. So it's a little bit of like we talked about in previous songs of the like the one side of him that has the low self esteem and the needing the attention legitimately, and then the other side of him that's like thriving on it and being like, yeah, I'm better. I'm pretty good.
Which, to be fair, I have never found an album that I've quite enjoyed more. Like this one just is. So maybe
You're
he's,
he's right.
yeah, he's right. um, I also like at the very last lines. That was the one right there. This is what we were waiting for. That's from the perspective of the fans. Like, okay,
Mm.
this is what we're this is a good thing. This is what we were waiting for. It's worth the wait. This is it.
Uh, yeah, like having to wait 8 years and the build up and just getting an album that the payoff was a good payoff. This was a good album.
Um, also makes me think of
It has,
aliens and space.
yeah, it definitely has some space vibes. It also has a little bit of like Sound of Silence.
Mhm.
Is that what it's called? Not Sound of Silence. What is the song I'm thinking of, Beck?
I don't know.
I don't know. Hold on. I'm gonna Google some lyrics.
I mean, Sound of Silence is similar, I guess, sound wise.
Is it Tired of Being Alone? No. I'm so tired of something.
I'm
I don't
s-
know.
My Immortal?
I'm so tired of being here. Yeah. Why can't I think of it? It reminds me a little bit of My Immortal. It reminds me a little bit of Sound of Silence. It's very sad.
Let's just throw in some more sad songs. Mad World. Not the Tears for Fears, not the original, but the Gary Jules one.
Dear
Hurt by
God.
Johnny
Well,
Cash.
okay, Beck. You're making fun of me now. It also sounds like a song. Just I don't know. It just sounds like a very sad song that a former boss of mine would have recommended to me. And I love him for that. And I would have listened to it and been like, wow, this is sad. Um, a song that maybe BoJack Horseman would have liked.
Yeah, yeah. This is a BoJack Horseman type band.
Yeah, he would have liked Brand New. They're problematic in
Yeah,
the right
yeah,
setting.
why wasn't Brand New ever used in this series in that series?
It would have fit, honestly.
It would have. Maybe that's why I liked it so much.
Wah, 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 wah.
Oh,
Anyway.
that's funny. Cause I heard it.
You know what I'm talking about.
I'll never forget my dad being like asking Amory or going looking at Amory watching BoJack and be like, "You're watching it too? Does everybody watch this show?"
And you were like, I know Hannah just finished it. Listeners, that is not a show to binge watch if you are someone who's prone to feeling bad.
It will make you feel bad about yourself sometimes.
And especially if you watch a lot of it all at once.
You know, Hannah, I was thinking about this. Oh, this is what I was thinking about yesterday. Besides karaoke, but I was talking to Juan and I was telling him about. He was telling me about, I guess, like his D&D campaign or something. And I was like, "Oh, it's like the trolley episode from The Good Place." And for some, and I was specifically talking about the scene where Chidi has to decide between sacrificing Eleanor to save 10 people or save Eleanor and kill 10 people, and he's like,
Mm-hmm.
"I'm gonna save Eleanor because she's my friend." And Michael's like, he snaps his finger. He's like, "Okay, tell their families." And I
Tell
and,
their
and
families.
I don't know why, but like I just have this like that scene, like that memory of just you and I watching it together. Like it's a core memory.
It's a core memory. You can look at it in your little memory doc and
Yeah,
with all of your little emotions.
I could see myself on the couch in my corner. We're eating lunch, about to go to the clinic for something, class probably.
Putting it off and watching The Good Place
That's
as long
right.
as we can.
Comparing everything Michael does to what Mike does.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, to wrap up on Batter Up, I love the ending sounds with the thunderstorm and the spacey sounds, and I'm like, ooh, what's happening? Sounds.
You know, aliens are apparently real, so
Apparently, but what does that even mean?
that means that these spacey sounds you hear is what happens before they take you to their ship.
Oh, well, it was kind of peaceful. So
It was. I'm telling you, I could fall asleep listening to this song. I could fall asleep right now.
same, honestly.
That's
I've got it playing in one of my headphones, and I could fall asleep.
it's the sleep aid that we need.
Yeah, all this time that we couldn't sleep, we should have just been listening to Batter Up
Yep.
on repeat.
Man, what's wrong with us? But no, it's a good song, a good way to close out the album.
Yeah, and it kind of talks about in the end how he's worried that this album is good enough for the fans after they've had to wait so long.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just some of the story of this album is him balancing insecurity and feeling like maybe he really is all that. He's got some fame and some notoriety.
Yeah. He's got some narcissism, but also insecurities. He's just a man. He's not Jesus.
He's not Jesus, even though he compares himself to Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. So get rid of that Messiah impression, sir.
He goes back and forth, which I mean, people like if you look at narcissism and the DSM and everything, that is what it is. Is there's the outside part of you that believes you're all that, and the inside part of you that is extremely insecure.
Yep.
And they kind of strengthen each other.
Yep.
So you kind of see some of that back and forth on this album.
You've heard that first, folks. We are diagnosing him.
Oh.
Hannah said it. Hannah said it was in the DSM, and he clearly has it.
Oh man. Definitely some questionable things here with him. I'm also very embarrassed that I could not remember the title of My Immortal. That's so embarrassing.
That's okay.
I was like, what is that song?
The
Oh
Sound
man.
of Silence.
I think I'd go to that first. It's so silly.
It's okay, Hannah. Nothing to be embarrassed about.
It reminds me of both of them, though, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me of Mad World.
Yeah. I like Sound of Silence.
I like Mad World.
Um, okay, so we gotta wrap up this album then.
Yep.
So, kind of, when you think about this album and the overall overarching story, what do you think he's trying to say?
Hello, fans. I hope this is good enough for you. I'm going through a lot, but you guys already knew that. I'm great, so you should already like this. I really hope you like this. Goodbye.
Yeah. Goodbye forever.
Yeah.
So, kind of some of that, like we've talked about already, like, yeah, I'm going through a lot. Also, I want you to like my music so bad.
Please like
Also,
my
goodbye
music.
forever. Yes. Mm. Okay. So, what was your? You already said your favorite song was.
Same
Um,
logic, teeth, and I'd cut no control.
you cut no control.
What about
Oh
you?
man, this is tough for me. I would probably cut no control. Ooh, you kind of sold me on same logic teeth.
Listen. Use your AirPods and listen to it with your AirPods in. Turn the volume up to where it's like a little loud, but not too loud. And just like let the song take you.
Okay. I'll listen to it again. I mean I listened to it a couple of different ways because I try to listen to it different ways
Yeah.
when we do this, so I can try to kind of capture all of the elements of the song.
This is definitely a
But
headphones album.
this album just is so like sleepy, nighttime, sad, but also one big story to me that it's hard to separate out. Okay, what is my favorite song? Um, I don't know. I might have to come back to that. I might have to listen to it again and tell you next week.
Update on Hannah's favorite song.
um, well,
Album grade?
do you want to grade it? Oh wait, do you have a favorite lyrical or musical moment? I know we've talked about a lot
I
of lyrics that
I
you like.
I said all that. Go back and listen. I had a lot.
Okay. I was hearing a lot of those lyrics for the first time, even though I had literally heard them several times before. But do you have a favorite musical moment?
um, well, I'm a drummy and a bassy, but I gotta give it to the guitars on this album. The guitar work
Yeah,
is phenomenal. In
for guitarists for this
137,
album.
in Same Logic, in Desert, in 451, all of it. Great.
I think, yeah, I think that,
I think
uh,
137 is the best song musically, though.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I think 137 is where musically it really shines. All right, Beck, give it a grade.
A plus 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 plus.
A plus 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 from Rebecca. It's a 4.0.
It's like 4 point like 7 set 5. Yeah, it's a 5. It's a 5.0.
It's a 5 out of 4. Um, I think I give it an A. I probably have to listen to it again to get some of the lyrical things that you get. I might give it an A minus because some of it blended together for me.
Yeah.
But I did really enjoy listening to it. It was a cool album, and I was like, this definitely has some like vibes that you would put in the background, or if you're having some sad boy hours,
Oh, you know
you need to
me.
cry.
If I'm not listening to my love songs before bed, it's usually sad boy hours.
If you need to go cry in the shower, here's the soundtrack
Yep.
for
Yep. If we still lived together, I'd be like, Hannah, be worried. If you hear this on my speaker while I'm in the shower.
it. Exactly.
Because I'd have to turn the speaker all the way up because their shower was so loud.
And then and everyone hears like you play whatever song it was that made all of the
Oh, the
walls
clown
shake.
noises or whatever the psych ward stereotype noises. Yeah, the
Yeah,
wailing.
play that.
Morgan's
The
like,
wailing.
Beck, are you okay? Anne Marie's just sitting on the couch like mortified.
I'm like, yeah, this is normal.
Michael's like, should we pray? Uh,
Okay, so I think that wraps it up for this album.
yep.
Science Fiction by Brand New.
That we'll be revisiting Brand New in 2 weeks. So
And maybe I'll have a more cohesive thing to think about and say when it comes to allegations against this man.
this man.
But a lot of it I was learning as we talked through this podcast, so I'm kind of like, oh man.
Oh yeah, they're not good.
It colors it a little bit for me. I can't help that.
No, I
But
understand. I was because people were like, I can't listen to him anymore, and I'm like, but this album, these two albums really helped me through hard times. I don't want to give them up.
yeah, that's a hard balance to strike too.
Mhm.
So maybe we'll talk about that some more the next time we talk about this band.
That's right.
But for now, this has been Science Fiction, Brand New, secondhand version.
No talking bra this time.
No what?
Talking bra.
Oh, no talking. I forgot about the
Or
talking bra.
or random dancing, but maybe next time. There's not much random dancing you could do.
I mean, you can't see it. It's not a visual media.
You're right. You're right.
So we could just say we are, and nobody would know.
You're right.
I'm thinking next time I might bring you an album that I used to like and don't like as much
Ooh.
to kind of, because I know you've done that for me in the past, so I might have to try it out.
I think it's more fun that way, at least for me. But
At least for you.
all right, well, I'm
But I
looking
really
forward to it.
enjoyed listening to this one that you love so much, so I'm glad you shared it.
Thank you. I was excited to talk about it.
All right. I'll say thank you to my friend Artemis for creating our cover art. That looks really cool.
That's right. I forgot to
And
link their page last week, but I'll make a note to do it for this week's episode, so I'm sorry.
so check that link and come back and listen to us talk about another album next week.
And make sure you're listening to the albums because, follow along. It's fun that way.
Oh yeah, this is a good way for you to get some music recommendation.
That's right.
Whether that's a bad Jonas Brothers album or a very good Brand New album.
Yeah, an A plus 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 album. It's fun for everyone.
For everyone involved.
Mhm.
All right, Beck.
All right. I'll see you later.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.